Have you murdered somebody? Have you done something so bad and so terrible that you don't think you deserve a second chance? Have you been in prison before, and have you committed adultery? Have you done things in the past that you felt like, oh my gosh, I do not deserve a second chance? Or do you know anybody that has done something in their lifetime that you feel like they don't deserve a second chance? Do you know anybody who has sexually been raped, or somebody that has taken drugs and they're suffering from addiction, somebody who's abused their children, somebody who's abandoned their children? Do you know anybody that you think that they don't deserve a second chance? Well, welcome to Second Chances Talk Show, hosted by Vivian Moyo. Second Chances Talk Show is a talk show that gives people a second chance in life. I believe that you deserve a second chance. Regardless of what you've done wrong in the past, I believe that you deserve a second chance. You don't have to go through shame anymore. You don't have to go through disgrace anymore, because your past is not who you are, but what matters is who you are today. It's not always about how you start, but it's about how you end. And Second Chances Talk Show is a talk show that follows the lives of so many cases that you wouldn't even think that they deserve a second chance, following the women in prison, following the women in the street, following the women who are in domestic violence, following women that have gone through hard times. And this is to prove to you and to show you that you deserve a second chance, that you don't have to beat yourself anymore, you don't have to be afraid anymore, because today is a day for you to make a difference. And today I'm here with one of my good friends, Madalena, and she is such an inspiration. She has gone from shame to strength. She was rejected by her own community for a very young age. She had a first child at the age of 14, and she got married very early, and she divorced. And today she's here with me, on a different level. She is an entrepreneur, and she's a music coach. She's got her own company called Music Relief, and she's married with 4 children now. And God has given her a second chance. So I'm here to find out more about her journey and story, and I hope that is going to inspire you. So, Madalena, how are you, darling?
Hi, Vivian. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm loving your outfit. You're looking beautiful as usual.
Thank you.
What was the inspiration of your outfit?
I just looked in the wardrobe. And something spoke to me, and there we are.
This was an inspiration. So you didn't even have an idea what you was going to wear the night before?
No.
Do you know what I do? I like to prepare myself during the night, because if I don't know what I'm wearing, it takes me a long time to get ready. But today I didn't have that chance. Last night I didn't have that opportunity, so this is about the 5th outfit that I've tried this morning. My first outfit was trousers, but then I was like, nah, I'm not feeling that look. And then I went into a black and white dress. I'm like, nope. And then I went into a blue and white dress. I'm like, nope. And then this was the last option. So I hope it's doing the justice.
I love to dress, and I told you that before we came on. I do love the dress.
Yeah, I just decided, I wanted something nice and simple, flowery and cozy. So
yes.
Yeah, and I think that necklace actually belongs to my dress.
Okay, we'll talk after.
It actually matches the dress. Before I start, you inspire me so much, in a sense that when I read your story, not only just reading your story, but speaking to you a couple of times, and even earlier on, like what you was telling me, what you've gone through just now, it made me realize, like, wow, like, you're strong. Because sometimes in life, when we go through certain things in life, we feel like, oh my gosh, why am I going through this? Like, why? Like, you feel like the world is against you. You feel like, oh my gosh, like, this is it. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And the first thing that comes out in people's mind is give up. But through everything that you've gone through, from when you were younger teenage pregnancy, being rejected with your community, your family, being divorced, and not only are you married now, but you have 4 children. Not only just that, but you have your own company called Music Relief. If you can talk to us about what's happening now, and then we can then go back to where it all started.
Okay. I need to correct you on one thing. You talked about having a child at 14.
I knew I was.
So for those listening, especially family members, like, what? I don't want to send misleading information. No, it was a little bit higher than that, not 14 years old. But I will talk about that later.
Okay.
But in a sense of Music Relief, we run therapy using music to help. Initially, it was going to be teen parents.
Okay.
So this when I talk about that, then you understand further. But to help disadvantaged youths and women within the society.
Okay.
Because for me, because obviously Music Relief was from my own personal experience, I believe so strongly that if we don't understand our purpose, then anything will do. I believe that young people have our leaders of today and of tomorrow.
That's right.
And if they don't live a purpose-driven life today, we won't have them tomorrow.
That's right.
So Music Relief, like I said before, was initially for teen parents, but it has now grown to reach out to other young people. And the sole purpose is to empower them, encourage them, and help them understand their full potential in order for them to begin to live according to that
That's a
potential.
different motivation altogether. Music. Why music?
I'm a musician.
Okay.
I'm a singer-songwriter. People say, "Oh, what's your instrument?" My voice is my tool.
Wow.
And music is such a powerful thing. It's not just. There was something that happened to me in 2006. Well, it was a relationship. I broke up with someone, and that 2006, when you just break up with someone, you're going through the motions. And I was going through the motions, and there was a song that came out in that 2006. I don't want to mention the artist's name. And that song came out, and it was like.
Was that the beginning?
Sorry?
Was that the beginning of Music Relief?
No. Music. I still hadn't thought of Music Relief even at that time.
Okay.
But when that song came out, I said to myself, wow. Because it felt like as if the guy wrote the song with me in the room.
Wow, really?
Every single word, I was like, oh my God, this song is for me. And so when Music Relief eventually came, in as much as it was brewing then, but I didn't know that. Because for that song to strike a chord with me, I've been singing and been doing other music prior to that. But that song struck a massive chord to me in 2006. And even when Music Relief came about, I started to run with it in 2011. I still make reference to 2006. Here we are in 2016. I still make reference to 2006 to let you know how powerful music is.
Wow.
So the words of the song, that even now, I've gone past that phase long time ago. But now when that song is still played, it takes me back to that place, but not in a bad way anymore. It's just a memory of that time.
Wow. To anybody who's listening right now, who's probably maybe going through a breakup or who's going through depression right now, what song do you have for them in 5 seconds?
What song?
Yeah.
Oh God.
In 5 seconds. This is to somebody, this is to you that feels like you have to give up right now because there's a second chance. And she's touched on something amazing, music being a source of inspiration, and music being something that will help you and help you to be a better person. So I've just put her in this spot, and I know there's somebody who's listening to me right now who needs that encouragement, and she claims that music is the right way.
Wow.
So
You definitely put me on the spot. She claims. Okay, I'll stand up to that challenge. Okay, I've got several songs in here right now. First song is one of my songs called Rise Up.
okay, do you wanna sing it up?
Singing out, okay. I'm just recovering from a cold, but let's do this. Okay. Rise up, even when you feel you can't go on, rise up. Even when you think that things are going down, rise up. I can't go any further because
I was feeling the song. That's not fair. I was getting in tune. That's not fair.
Okay, there's Rise Up. There's You Raise Me Up, Westlife. And I Believe I Can Fly.
Okay.
R. Kelly.
Okay.
And
Do you want to sing You Raise Me Up?
Okay. Vivian, why are you doing this to me?
Come on, like somebody needs healing right now.
Someone needs healing, but my
Through your
voice,
music, they
my
need
voice
that
needs
healing.
healing as well.
They need healing right now.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. That's it for now, Vivian. Because
Wow.
I can hear the voice just about going. I'm trying to keep it for the interview.
Wow. And I like what you said. You know, in life, somebody who's giving up right now, they're probably giving up for the fact that they feel like, who am I? I'm useless. I don't have no passion. I don't have no talent. But she said it. You'll be surprised that there's a lot of music writers out there. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of young people out there, but they feel like they're not gonna make it for music based on the fact that, well, they're not good enough for X Factor. They're not good enough for Britain's Got Talent. What does Music Relief do to those people, to those young people? What do they offer to those young people that feel like?
Music Relief, when you come to our workshop, we don't just say what's on the tin, we actually do what's within the tin. And what we do is help that young person develop another identity.
Okay, and how do you guys do that?
Through the workshops. And the workshops are basically sitting down, having a one-to-one or one-to-group, as the case may be, a discussion.
Okay.
What has been your experience? Whatever the experiences are. So each workshop is different because each individual, each group are different.
Okay.
But the nutshell of the whole thing is through discussion, because I can never get to know you if I don't talk to you.
That's right.
And what we do is by talking to that person, we give that person a safe haven to be able to express themselves freely.
Okay.
So it's not just full-blown, going into full-blown singing or let's start to sing, but we need to talk to you to understand your experience, because not everybody, people are not just trusting, especially if they've gone through horrendous issues.
That's right.
So they need to develop, they need to learn to trust you.
That's right.
And for myself personally, if I'm working with them or any other facilitators working with them, we have to create that sense of trust. And by creating that sense of trust is by sitting down as we're doing now and having a discussion.
And how is that going to help with their music?
Through those discussions, we then encourage you. It doesn't happen overnight, it takes a little time. But through those discussions, we then encourage that person or those groups to begin to pen things down.
Okay.
Because you find that when you begin to write things down on paper and you're seeing those things that you're going through, you're writing it down on paper, it triggers a sense of healing. It's therapy. Okay. Because you're writing things down. So we're writing things down that would then eventually come out as a poem, okay, a rap if you're into rap, okay, or a song. Okay. Because you're writing we're healing you through your own experiences, but you're penning it down. Okay, I like that. I like that approach. Would you say, okay, so Music Relief, would you say that's part of your story? Music Relief is my story. So do you want to take us back to how you ended up founding Music Relief? Because there's always a story behind it. Oh yes. A bit of an introduction. Yes, I was at school when I got pregnant, not at 14. But prior to the pregnancy, what happened, I talked about giving you another identity and the power of having another identity. This is what happened to me, but not in a good way. I came from Nigeria to the UK. I was 10. Igbo? Sorry? Igbo? No. Sorry, I'm playing. I'm not Igbo, I'm Orobo. So I'm from the western side. Is that the mixed race people? No. I don't know, is it Igbo or... No, Orobo, we're from the western side. Okay. But don't worry, I'll educate you after. Okay, so I came from Nigeria myself, parents, a younger sister at the age of 10. Coming from your own country, obviously, not worrying about accent or anything, and being a confident young lady from a young age already. So even from a young age, I was leading my fellow peers. In Sunday school, I was the one teaching, and even in the compound where we lived. At 6, 7. Wow. Yeah, at 6, 7, I was standing in front of them and be teaching them. And even in the compound where we lived as well, I would want to gather all the other children together, and we'll just be leading. Whatever we're doing, I was always in that leadership role. But coming from that, then coming to meet my mom who was already here, and then going through that process of leaving all your friends, school, everything you knew, a hot climate to a cold climate. But not only that, starting a new school. But in starting a new school would mean that you need to interact with our children. By interacting with our children, and you're talking as you, this is how you've always known to talk. You're speaking English, okay, but these other children are laughing at you. And you're wondering, why are you laughing at me? I'm speaking, you can understand what I'm saying. But they're laughing at you because of the fact that now you're in a different country, your accents are not compatible. And that's where the laughter came about. And then when that continues day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, it does something to a child's psyche. So no matter how confident you are, because it seems like everybody else in their little clique, excluding you, it begins to knock that confidence one day after another, until another, until another. And that's what happened to me.
Do you think that's still happening now?
Definitely. Definitely. So for me, I would say fortunately, I came at an age that I started secondary school in September. So we came, I think, in March of '92. And so I started school in September. So I went in straight to primary school and finished in the summer, not long after, in July. So I thought, oh, that's it, fantastic, it's done. Not knowing, let me use the word, the best was still yet to come in secondary school. Again, with that whole trying to adapt to the accent. And so let me fast forward the whole story now. I came, when I was in secondary school, in year 8 exactly, I didn't, cautiously but also unconsciously, I chose another identity.
Was that through the bullying?
Through that bullying of being laughed at, I chose another identity in a sense that I said, I unconsciously made a choice that I can either allow this to happen or become one of them. And by becoming one of them was to develop this accent that they keep talking about, they're talking, so I have to listen once.
The innate accent.
You know it. And so how do I begin to speak like them? And how do I begin to act like them so that I will become part of them? And that's what happened. So it was unconsciously I made it, because I didn't sit down and say, okay, Magdalene, this is what you're going to do. So, but unconsciously, that's what happened. And as a result of doing that, one thing led to another, to another, to another. Like, yes, I was in the church, I was born in the church, raised in the church, but when I was not in church at home, I was at school, and I was forging another life in school. And so by forging another life in school,
forging, you mean you were pretending, you were basically living two lives?
I was living two lives because I wanted to fit in. I didn't want that bullying anymore. I didn't want that laughter. I didn't want to be excluded from the clique any longer. I wanted to be part of that clique. And everything the clique was doing, for me at that time, I felt that I needed to be part of that clique.
So you didn't think that it would have been wiser for you to make a difference?
Not at that age, no. And unfortunately, that's what happened with many young children at this now. It's still happening because of the fact that at that age they feel that their friends' words are louder than that which their family is saying to them, because they don't want to be the outsider.
Okay. So do you think that if your family or your parents had encouraged you and told you that you were beautiful and encouraged you that you don't have, that it's okay to embrace your accent, it's okay to be who you are, do you think that would have made any difference?
I believe so. I believe so. I'm not trying to put my parents down, especially, and may the soul of my mom rest in peace because she's now passed. But they did the best of what they knew to do. They brought us here at a young age for greener pastures. So they were working majority of the time. But I'm not knocking them because that's what most people have to do. But if they had the understanding that, oh, it's not just about coming to this country and working, but it's also about knowing what's happening with your children and speaking to them and understanding the issues that they're experiencing in school, that also goes a long way. So I truly believe so that if they had time to sit down and talk and say, oh, what's going on, how was school, what's happening, X, Y, and Z. I'm not God, but I'm sure many things that happened wouldn't have happened because I would have chosen a different path.
A different route. So, give an example of your everyday routine. Let's say, okay, you finish school, you go home. What was the routine at home like?
You go home. You're not allowed any phone calls from boys, especially boys can't call your house. You're not going to any parties. So your social life, in a sense, was either you go to church, or you're in school, or maybe you have family outing. That was it.
But in terms of your relationship with your family, like, do you feel like you had that? Hearing your story, it almost feels as if that you didn't have nobody but yourself at that time.
I don't want to paint a picture that, it was hard knock at home. No, it was a case of they did what they had to do. When a person doesn't have an understanding of any other thing, I feel that this is the only way to do it, they just do it. So I don't want to put this is the right way, the wrong way of doing it. But it was a case of my parents did what they had to do. They would go to work at night. So it would probably most of the time was myself and my sister in the house.
Okay.
So that strictness that you're not allowed to go anywhere, you can't do this, you can't. So you are living and abiding by strict rules that this is the rules. Do not break.
Okay, so basically the problem was that you didn't have that relationship with your mom, and you were the oldest, wasn't you? So therefore, to have that guidance or that security to speak about what was really going on, you didn't have it. So
no, there was no mother-daughter discussion like
at
that.
all.
No.
So then you thought, okay, I'm gonna do this in my own way, and your own way was to create this other life and tell us a little bit more about the life that you created.
So it was a case. There was 5 of us in school. There was a big school, but there was 5 of us that were like clique. So we used to call ourselves the Spice Girls.
Well, the posh and backs.
Yeah. So I was posh. So there were clique, but then in the school as well. But you had all these people, different girls doing different things, and you could hear stories of, this girl is sleeping around and all the rest of it. And so within the 5 of us now, so we began to talk, or like if people have had sex and stuff. And for me, I've never even kissed a boy to the close of having sex with a boy.
What age was that?
And this was about 15,
okay.
15, 16 now. So it was very strange to me. So they were talking, so I'll keep quiet and like, what's going on? So I'm like, so you want to be part of what's been said. You want to experience what they're experiencing, and you hear them talk, oh wow, it's good, it's this, it's that. So you want to be part of it. You don't want to be excluded from it. So this was back before the days of school sending letters or texts if your child is not in school or your child misbehaves, because I know my children now. So it was a bit easier to bunk off school.
Because you never had the letters or
no. So it was easier to not go to school. So yes, your parents think you're in school, but you will leave school. So that was that began to happen.
Okay.
So my friends now were like, prior to that, obviously, there was a guy, you have to have sex with somebody to get pregnant, obviously. So it was a guy that he started a school. He newly started. So he was in 6th form while I was still in secondary school, but he was still in the same building, in the same school. And so...
How did you get to 6th form to where you were? How did you even meet up with this guy?
No, because like I said, it was in the same compound. So you have the 6th form department, and obviously year 7 to 11 in the same compound. But there, so he came in, and it was like everybody, all the girls, like, oh my God, have you seen this new guy? He's got brown eyes. Oh my God.
Was he mixed race?
No. He wasn't. So for me, I hadn't seen this. I was like, what's this big deal about this guy with the brown eyes? What's the big deal? And then, so my friend then, she saw him, she liked him, so I became the go-between. Oh, can you talk to this guy for me? Talk to this guy for me. Yeah. So that was my introduction to this guy. So me now, not thinking of boyfriend. I didn't snatch the guy.
I did not snatch the guy. That was a perfect opportunity for you.
I did not snatch the guy, because the thing about it, because I specifically said, when he turned around and said, oh, it's you I wanted, I said no, because she sent me to you. I didn't even know you until she sent me to you. So you need to do the right thing and speak with her. It's not that so that she doesn't think that I'm come after you. But anyways, one thing led to the other. But we then started dating. So dating in the sense that we would see each other, everybody know that, they're together in school, not doing anything. We're not doing anything at all. So the whole relationship was within the confine of the school. So Monday to Friday, 9 to 3, that was a relationship. But after that, there was no other relationship at all.
And how long did that go on for?
That went on, I think, for a year. I think.
And how did you know that was a relationship at that age?
Oh, you're together, you're in a relationship. That's what everybody's talking about. You're in a relationship,
Did you even know what a relationship was?
This is what we're talking about. This is what everyone is saying, so that must be a relationship.
Okay.
At a young age, you're not... I have to give credit to some young people. I'm not saying that all of them were like me, but for me at that time, I didn't really understand the whole thing. But I just because I'm seeing this guy, yes, we're in a relationship. So then, the first time we actually kissed was 6 months down the line.
Okay.
And then things quickly led from there.
Okay, so it started off with a kiss.
Yeah, things quickly led from there. Then again, coming back to the bunking off school, it was another incident again. 3 out of the 5 of my friends, well, 2 then myself 3, said, oh, because the other 2 were dating his friends.
Okay.
And so it was a case of, well, they were going to one of my friend's boyfriend's house and let's all go together. So not knowing what was going to be happening, so I went with the other 2 to the house and he was there. So it's like we got to the house and that's when the sex parts came into play. So we got to the house now. So we got into the house and everybody, in a sense, just kind of separated into different rooms.
Okay.
And then...
Did you know what was happening at that time?
It wasn't planned.
Okay.
But obviously, you watch films, you know that, okay, this is...
I like that. Let's face reality. It wasn't planned, but you know what's going on. You watch films. Because a lot of young people like to pretend that they don't know what's going on. At that point, they say it was an accident.
Yeah. No. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't planned, definitely. But you had a choice. So it wasn't rape. Okay. So I had a choice to say, you know what's going on, I'm not doing this. But this is what happened. So it was the first time and it was, no. It was something that I said to myself, never again. But then that never again went to another again. And never again, another again. And even after that first incident, going home, walking home that day, because I remember the 3 of us walked home. I could barely walk.
Wow. You know, hearing your story and just thinking as a parent, I'm talking to parents right now. Do you really know your children? Do you think your children know who they are as teenagers, as growing up? Have you sat down with your kids to really find out who they are? Because all of this can be happening under your very nose and you don't even aware of it. You don't even know what's going on with your child. Your child can be pregnant right now and you don't even have a clue with it because you are busy trying to have this perfect life. You're working so hard. But I believe the best love that a parent can give is being around for that child. And the moment you are not around for that child, it's gonna cause you a lot of hurt and a lot of pain because the child is not gonna appreciate the money. They're not gonna appreciate whatever it is that you're doing. All they want is love. And I believe that moment when you went home, you were in pain. Your mom didn't even notice that anything was happening. Like, your parents didn't have a clue at what happened.
Did not know that.
You were in pain.
No, I could barely walk, so my legs were that part of walking down the street. But as soon as I entered the house, I just had to comport myself and went straight into the bath. But even with that, nobody knew. We went straight into the bath, all the bleeding, washed the bath, everything came out and everything. Nobody knew anything. And even with the consequent visits that happened, still there was no inclination.
Wow. And I think your story is not just your story. I believe that there's a lot of young teenagers going through that phase of trying to create this life, but they don't have that control because they're still growing, and the parents not really knowing what is really happening. And I think the problem is these days you have a lot of teen parents being parents.
Yeah. So it's children. For me, I remember writing a blog some years back about children having children. Because where we used to live, when I got pregnant with my son, it was an estate that had loads of young people. And I didn't really talk to them, but because they see you day in day, you just kind of have that cordial, you're right kind of nod with each other. And you could see them just hanging around the estate doing nothing. But it came to a point as we were all growing, they began to have children. The boys were becoming dads, the girls were becoming moms. And then they would have these children when they were still babies in the buggies, and then as they grew, they would be around, just loafing around again in the estate. And for me, it was quite a shocking thing, because I must quickly interject here that my mom obviously was very angry when she found out, extremely angry. But towards the tail end of the pregnancy, I thank God that she was able to turn around to help me in preparation of the birth that was coming. But then after the baby came, she also stepped in to become a mom again, because this enabled me to then go back to school. So now I then went back to go to sixth form, that same sixth form that I met this guy, but he had already left by that time. But I went back to school in order for me to be able to complete my education, as in my sixth form college studies. So my mom took that child. So for me, walking past those young people there and seeing them with their children, it's later on that you begin to understand the magnitude of what was happening then.
That's right.
Because those children were growing up seeing their parents doing nothing.
Wow.
And just having children all over the place. And so I remember seeing somebody else who came from that era as well, who was telling me that her own brother has children everywhere.
Wow.
And so what do you expect from those children if their role models are having children everywhere?
What advice do you have for teen pregnancy?
As someone that is working with many young people, and many young people nowadays even tell me when we're in workshops, they say their parents don't know who they are because they have two identities.
Wow.
The statistics out there saying that teen pregnancy is dying.
Wow.
And they're saying that abortion rates are increasing.
Oh, wow.
And that is even more frightening.
That is.
Because I don't doubt the fact that teen pregnancy is reducing. But the fact that abortion rates is increasing,
that's terrible.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that the pregnancies are still taking place. But many of these young people are saying that, oh, like me, my parents can't find out. My parents can't find out, and they go ahead and have an abortion. Even just as I was driving here today, I remember this area was bringing back so many memories. I haven't been here for a long time. And I remember a friend of mine who unfortunately was passed away. She was dating somebody that was living around this area all those years ago. And she got pregnant but for somebody else.
Wow.
And then I begged her and pleaded and pleaded. That was after I had my own child. I pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. And she said, no, my case is not like your case. She was adamant. So I was pleading for her not to do it, but she was pleading for me to go with her to do it. But eventually I was like, okay, if I can't win, let me at least still try and make the last minute ditch, as in going with her to the clinic to convince her not to do it. But I went with her, she did it. And unfortunately, we all grew, she got married, but she could never have any other child. I don't know if it was because of the abortion or anything, but I saw how traumatized she was when she came out. This is a dark-skinned girl that's like me, as dark as me. But when she came out, I was waiting for her in the reception area. When she came out of that room, she was as white as a ghost. This is a dark-skinned girl. She cried and cried and cried and cried. And I couldn't tell her, I told you so.
And then going home, parents didn't have a clue again.
No, she was living with her auntie at that time. The auntie did not know this is what happened. And unfortunately, this is still happening, even for myself as a parent, because I'm talking to other parents out there. I'm also talking to myself that we need to create time not only for our boys, because they're the ones obviously causing the pregnancy, but also for the girls as well.
That's right.
Because many young girls, one particular group of girls I was working with a few weeks ago, one of them was saying, oh, she can't wait to have a baby because she thinks it's going to be so cute. She was saying, oh my God.
How old is she?
She is 15, 16, the same age I got pregnant.
Wow. So you started at that age? It
was quite frightening because she was like, it's so cute, I'll dress her, I just want to be her, I'll dress her up like this. And in my head I'm like, a child is not a doll. It's not a doll. I just need someone to give love to. And that's
always the statement.
That statement is a powerful statement. It's a very powerful statement because that's a child. That what I'm hearing now is that child is saying, because for me when I work with them, I try not to come across as a parent side of it, but you can't help it when you're a parent. But that child, I'm seeing that child as saying that I'm looking for love, but I'm not getting it from home. So I feel the best way for me to give this love is for me to have my own, to give that love. But they don't know that there's a lot of work that comes with that.
And I think this boils down to parents. And parents, how are you going to help your children? And not even how are you going to help your children. Is it a question of how are you going to help yourself to help your children? Because if you're not seeing what's happening around you, then that means that you are dealing with a lot of issues that you haven't dealt with. and those issues, you have to deal with them, because it's not fair to bring a child into the world, raise a child, and don't even know what's going on. And everything that Magdalena has said, I can relate to. And a child is not a doll, like what Magdalena said. A child is a human being. A child doesn't deserve to suffer any pain based on the fact that the parent doesn't want to face the reality and the responsibility of being a parent. And the only way this generation is going to go from strength to strength is the examples that are lived at home. And I always say it starts from home. And if a parent hasn't got control over the child, how is the child going to have control of the world?
That's what I said. I said children are leaders not only of tomorrow, but of today. Because I call them children regardless of how big they are. Because as a mom, when I see a girl child walking down the street, just because she has big boobs or big bum, doesn't make her a woman, a grown woman. I can just look at the face and know that this is a child. But men may look at it and say, wow, you know. But for me, I'm like, especially when they wear little tight skirts and exposing the front and everything. All I want to do is just carry a blanket.
That's right, cover it.
Can you cover yourself? Because the thing about it is that I say to people, I'm like, let me use this example. If I have an apple tree at the back of my garden and I've got 3 apples falling down, or I can pluck 3 apples every day, why do I need to go to the supermarket or to the market to buy apples when I get it for free all the time? It makes no sense. I just have to go into the market to buy the other ones, the bananas and oranges or whatever. But I've got the apples covered already. If the young girl feels that she's going out to a party and she needs to release all of that and all of that in order for her to look good.
That all brought, I guess, rejection, teen pregnancy, addiction, drugs, gangs, teen gangs, alpha gangs. It all boils to one thing: love. And how do you get that love? I think for me is you have to know who you are. Alcohol, addiction, sex, none of that is not going to make you any better. It's going to make you worse. And I'm sure you, Magdalena, you know who you are now.
Definitely. It took me a long time to understand. I'm still on a journey. I'm still on a journey. But one thing I've come to realize is that I have a purpose. That's why I'm a purpose-driven individual.
That's right.
I have a purpose. And because of that purpose, anything won't do. Some people say anything will do, but for me, anything won't do.
That's right.
Because there has to be a reason behind whatever it is I'm doing.
That's right.
And I say to people, whatever we do, I'm sat here, you said to me, how did you come together with this outfit? In as much as I may say to you, I just went into the wardrobe and picked it up. But there has to be some kind of reason behind it.
That's right.
I could have just picked anything else. Why is it just this ensemble I'm wearing now? Why didn't I pick a blue shoe with this and stuff? There has to be a reason behind everything.
That's right.
So anything won't do. You have to come to a point of understanding who you are. If I make the example of twins all the time, identical twins. They may look identical in every area, but if you were to have a thumbprint, it's 2 different things you're going to get there.
That's right.
And even with twins, they want to have they want to be separate in their own way. So you would have one cut their hair, and one live a long hair, one would dye their hair pink, the other one dye their hair blue, just because they're trying to separate themselves, because we came as individuals.
That's right.
Twins, when you're giving birth to them, either through natural birth or cesarean, you don't take them out together. No. It's one after the other.
That's right.
So we all come as individuals, and children have to understand, and I say children because they are children.
That's right.
You have to understand that you can't live your life for your peers. When I finished secondary school after 5 years, I was busy crying my eyes out, oh my God, I don't want to leave you guys. Now it's a case of, I don't even remember you guys.
How do you think Music Relief will help and stop teen pregnancy?
That's a very good question. What we are doing at Music Relief is to get the young people together.
Okay.
To tell them that there's another way of living.
Okay.
I keep using that word purpose. If a person does not understand their purpose, anything will do. Purpose is a very powerful tool. So what we do at Music Relief is not just about coming and talking and writing, but there's a lot of therapy taking place in a sense of making that young person understand that you as a boy or you as a girl have X, Y, Z potential inside of you.
That's
do
right.
you know that? Have you actually realized that gift that you have inside of you?
Okay, so
Because when a person is, sorry to cut you, when a person is focused, and no, when a person knows who they are, and then becomes focused in achieving that dream that they have, they don't have time for distraction.
that's right.
So that's what we're trying to do with the young people and with women as well, because
That's
it's
right.
about youths and women.
That's right.
Helping them to understand that there's something inside of you, irrespective of, oh, but you've gone through abuse, I've gone through rape, I've gone through this, I've gone through that. Yes, terrible things have happened. But even with that, you're not dead.
That's right.
Since the fact that you're not dead, there is hope.
That's
and that hope is something that we need you to understand and realize. Once you realize what it is that you have, let's now help you to begin to run with it.
That's right. I like that. So Music Relief is a way of distracting you away from destructive behavior into finding out who you are before you get distracted.
It's a way of helping you create another identity, but in a positive way. I created another identity that led to negative roots, but I've been able by the grace of God to turn things around. But helping you to create another identity. Once you create that another identity in a positive manner, you run with it, then all the other negative distraction around you becomes secondary. It no longer becomes primary in your life.
How do I reach to you as a young person who wants to discover my potential and if I want to develop myself? How do I reach you?
We're on social media, so you can contact us through Facebook, so that's Music Relief and the number 1.
Okay.
On Twitter, so that's at Music Relief UK.
Okay.
And you can check out my personal Facebook as well, that's Magdalene Adenike.
Okay.
Or my personal Twitter, which is at M_Adenike1. But if that's too much, so just contact us on Facebook, like I said, or Twitter, or even, Instagram. I'm trying to understand the Instagram. Yes, but Instagram, so that's music_relief.
Okay, and do you take any emails?
Yes, our email address is office@music-relief.com. So that's office@music-relief.com. Or call us 0203 198 1999. 0203 198 1999. So it's not just for the young people, it's for the people that work with them, the teachers,
Okay.
youth offenders,
Okay.
youth offending team, wherever you have young people, even in the churches,
Okay.
wherever the young people are. Let's start working.
Amen. And one last word of inspiration to the women, to the mothers out there.
To the mothers out there, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. But if you're going to go through that experience of 9 months of carrying a child in your womb, and then going through that pain, that near-death experience, because it's between life and death when you're giving birth there, and then give birth to a child, don't abandon that child and leave that child for someone else to raise.
Well,
Do the best that you possibly can to raise that child up to become a king, a queen that child is supposed to be. Because remember, that child never asked to be born. So do the best that you can. Sometimes you get it wrong, yes, I understand that. I get it wrong as well. But do the best that you possibly can to make that child realize that he or she is worth it. He is a king or is a queen, and there's greatness inside of you and inside that child.
And I believe that you deserve a second chance. Forget about the mistakes that you did yesterday. Just know that today is another day to make things right. And bearing in mind that what you do and how you raise your children, they are going to be the influence of this generation. It starts from motherhood. As a mother, be proud that you've been given that gift, because not everybody has that gift of being a mother. Nobody has the purpose of being a mother. But once you're a mother, just know that you're raising the next president. Just know that you're raising the next doctor, the next policeman. Just know that you're raising somebody who's going to make a difference, and it's only going to take you as a mother to make sure that that seed is developed the right way. And always, it's never about being right or being wrong. I know there's a fight between parents of, well, you have to be right, but sometimes you have to take time to get to know who your child is. Who is your child? What do they like to do? How are they feeling inside? How can you help them? But never let it be about yourself and what you want for your child to do, but always make sure that whatever your child wants to do is something that they're comfortable with. Have a plan with them, sit them down, and instead of telling them that they're a failure, never let those words come out of your mouth, but embrace them. They might not be doing well in school, but always tell them that, well done. You might have not got the grades that you want right now, but well done. I love you, and I believe in you, because like what Madalena said, don't allow the society to define who your child is, but you be the one. God has given you that gift of being their mother, and He's trusted you to be their mother, because He knows that there's something that you have that that child needs from you, and it's never too late to make it right. Remember, you're the mother, but at the same time, the child is gonna represent you. So don't be afraid to build that relationship, because I think it's a power struggle. I think a lot of parents feel like, if I become your friend, there's never going to be respect. But I'd rather my child becomes my friend, because then I know that they can trust me. They can feel safe and secure, because we live in a world where it's not really nice at all. So parents, don't give up on your children. You can still make it right. They can still do it. They can still become the great child that they've been called to do. They can still become that prime minister. They can still become that doctor. They can still become great. But it's going to take you to rise up and put your seatbelt on and drive that car with them. The car is a journey, and it's never too late. And don't feel sorry about the mistake. Don't feel bad about anything. Just know that there's hope. And I know you can do it. There's a second chance. You deserve a second chance, especially your child. So don't worry about what you did wrong last year or yesterday, because today is a day for a second chances. And you're listening to Vivian Amoyo, your host of Second Chances. And if you want to come to the show and you have a real life story that you want to share with us, a story that the entire world has to know about, you can send me an email to info@secondchances. I'll say it again. info@secondchancestalkshow@gmail.com. I'll say it again. info@secondchances@gmail.com. And you can send me a brief send me a brief, your name, what you want to talk to us about, and then our team will get in touch with you. And thank you very much, and looking forward to speaking with you soon. And thank you very much, Madalena.
Thank you
for having on board.
Thank you. We finally got it done.